Welcome back to Nightly Nonsense, where we make some sense out of the nonsense all around. I've spent all week telling you that nonsense is coming your way, systematically working you through things, saying here's the pathway, building you a path, a bridge, whatever you want to call it. I have been building you up and saying, listen, the way this ends is, for most of us that are Christians, if we have to live through this tribulation period, we're going to stand in front of somebody. They're going to tell us to denounce. We have to decide this day who we're going to serve. If we serve Jesus, we're probably going to pay for that, right? That's the deal. If you believe, if you choose your own ending. If you chose the rapture way back earlier, then you're like, none of this is going to happen. I'm not going to have to worry about any of this. This is for other people, right? So it's really convenient to believe that things are always for other people and not for ourselves. But what if it is for you? I want to end this week and I want to end this thing. So what if all of this is for you? What if catastrophe is coming? What if the world you live in is going to change so monumentally it's not even recognizable? What if, right, things happen in this country that we've never thought about, or if we thought about it, would never happen to us? What happens for all these things? Now let me take the next couple of minutes to tell you about hope. This time period seems like an awful time period, because it is. This time period seems like there's not much hope, but there is, right? There is always hope. The Bible says that people are going to come to know Jesus during this time, people. I wish revival happened all the time out of good moments of life, but it doesn't, right? Usually revival happens in the worst moments of life. People turn to God when they need him, right? Now again, if you got to try to turn to God while your family needs food and shelter and clothing and all the things, that's going to be really hard to do. You probably need to think about, this is why we need to be on the front side of this and offering people hope. There is hope through all of this, and it's the same hope that has always been around, and that's Jesus. Jesus is the hope. You cling to Jesus, he will cling to you. It doesn't mean you're not going to die. I don't think I could say that any more simple. What it does mean is that God looks at death differently, and when you do die, and you're standing in front of God, Jesus goes, well done, my good and faithful servant. It means that Jesus took your place. You allowed him to take your place. So therefore you have an eternal moment with God and a destiny for God and all the great things. It's going to be a new heaven. There's going to be a new earth. There's going to be perfection, right? Imagine living in a world with zero influence of sin, evil, any of that stuff. Imagine that. Imagine not having to fight the enemy every single day. In your head, right? Imagine that with your words, with your actions. Imagine that's what's coming our way. All that we're called to do is stand firm. Stand firm. Stand firm. That's what God keeps asking you and I to do. Stand firm. That's the hope. So the hope is, listen, I'm going to cling to Jesus. So right now, while you have time, right? While you have time to find Bible studies, to find the Bible, to find books where people are encouraging you, to find information, while you can still use the internet, while you can still do all these things, be seeking God diligently. Because let me end this whole week's thing with this. There's going to come a time where you're going to be dependent upon your relationship with God to make it through all of this. If you don't have a relationship with God, that's going to be problematic. If your relationship with God is iffy at best, that's going to be problematic. But if your relationship with God is solid, right, then you're going to have something to stand on. It doesn't mean that bad things aren't going to happen to you. It means that you're going to have something to stand on and make it through. So when you got to make the tough choices, this is what happens when you do 7. Tough choices and all the things. When you have to do all of these things, then God is going to be there with you. So I hope that this has been an encouragement actually to you. I hope that you've walked through each of these nights. I hope that you're clinging to hope. And I hope that you have decided, hey, I'm going to believe this stuff is happening because this is what the Bible says is going to happen. And I'm going to make a difference in the people around me. I want them to have the same thing. Listen, I don't ever toot my own horn. I don't know that I've ever actually done this in 30 years, right, of ministry. But I would challenge you. Take these last 6 nights. Take these nights. Walk through through it with someone who's minimally saved, seeking God, somebody who isn't even, and just say, hey, would you be willing to think through this with me? Would you be willing to decide, right? Make some of these decisions, see where this is going, right? Give somebody around you the hope, hopefully, that you've been given. Hey, we'll see you next time. Nightly Nonsense.